in Nigeria were you born? What city and state?
So I was born in Warri, Delta State, and yeah, very very limited knowledge because I left
Yeah.
so young, but it's obviously it's still home for me.
I know that you lived there until you were about 5 or 6 with your dad. What do you remember from your time there, and what was he like?
Um, Honestly, I've only got a few memories of him. It seemed like a real chill, laid back guy, and I remember a lot of power outages. That's what I remember. But there was, there was lots of business being ran, lots of people selling things on the streets. I remember the suya and how it was just being made fresh and outside our compound, and it was just I remember that memory. Yes, yeah.
I love that. You kind of just touched on it a little bit, but for me, when I think of Nigeria, the first thing that comes to mind is, the red dirt. I remember spending time at my Oja, my grandma's house, and seeing all of my family there. I remember the scorching hot temperatures and sweating and being super hot. Do you remember some more detailed early memories like that? Do you remember kind of where you lived, the family that was around?
I can't remember where we lived, but I remember going to school. I remember there was sand everywhere. I remember that the teachers were allowed to beat you, and I was a naughty kid, so I definitely I got beat a lot. So, but yeah, I remember Sweetwater, and I just remember everything just being so big, So yeah.
Yeah. Was there anything specifically that stood out about your culture at that time?
um, no, I think the only thing is that everything was celebrated. Birthdays, Christmases, everything was a celebration. You kill the chickens and the goats, and you get the big pots out and you play the music and you celebrate. So I think that's one aspect that I definitely remember. Everything was a celebration.
I know your mom lived in Holland. It's not uncommon with immigrant families for one parent to live in a different country. Can you take me back to that day when 5 or 6-year-old Efe is at the airport? You're leaving Nigeria to go meet her for the first time. What do you remember feeling? Who went with you? What did your family kind of tell you about why you were moving, and who said goodbye to you at the airport?
Honestly, I can't remember. Like nobody. I just did what the adults said. You know, and until I got to Holland, I really didn't even think. I didn't know that I was going to see my mom. So it was just do what the adults said. I think we went from Nigeria and then we went to Ghana first. Then we went through Ghana. Then from Ghana, that's when we went and made that trip overseas. But I was honestly I was too young to even realize what was going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I just had to be in my best behavior.
And it was just you and your sister on the plane, or did someone go with you?
It was me and my sister. It was me and my sister, and I would assume someone went with me. Yeah, just because of the age.
Yeah.
I can't put a face to it.
You lived in Holland with your mom and sister until you were 10, and you said in the past that the world was against her. What was life like in Holland for your family?
It was tough, a single mom. Like I said previously, my sister suffers from learning disability. I think that in a country that didn't speak English, it was very hard for her to kind of navigate that. And then there was just not enough resources for her to be able to assimilate into that society. I was able to go. I remember I was able to go to school. She had to stay at home because there just wasn't any service that offered her that. And obviously she had to provide for all of us, and I know that was hard for her. Obviously, as I get older and I understand what it's like being an adult and things like that, so I respect that. And yeah, we had some good days, we had some bad days, but for the most part, yeah, for me, I was just happy to be with my mom. I was just happy um, to have some semblance of normality and family and you
You
know
talked about, moving to London to change your living situation, better your life, but what were the specifics of the initial plan, if you remember? What was supposed to happen?
I don't think I was even involved in the initial plan. Like I was just, like I said, very young, age 10. It's just you do what the adults say. It's looking back on it now, obviously it was for a better life, and that's what I was told. I wasn't involved in any of the decision making and how and the what, the whys. It's just this is this is this is what you say when you get asked this question. This is what you do. This is, make sure you behave, and then that's it. Like, it's very much, African household respect, all of that stuff. So yeah.
What did the hours before you and your sister actually set foot in London look like? Walk me through, that time period before, from the moment you said goodbye to your mom to your arrival. How did you guys get there? Did you take a train, a plane?
I think we took a plane. It was, I remember that day, because we weren't going together. Everybody was, it was just me and my sister, and my mom was trying to reassure us that, it's just, you guys are gonna go for a week, and I'll be there soon. And, I remember being in tears. I just didn't want to go with this random person. I didn't know who this she was, and then yeah, when we got to the UK, I just remember it being cold. It was nighttime. Um, it obviously looks very similar to Holland, with the buildings, brick structures, all of that stuff. Um, but it was dark and cold, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. You've been pretty open about, what happened once you got to London. I know that you and your sister lived with a woman that had 5 other kids, and you said that you were treated as basically domestic slaves during that time. And then after that, you guys were put in over 10 different homes in the foster care system, where you said it seemed like they cared more about the financial benefits of being a foster parent rather than showing you and your sister an ounce of love and care. As soon as you turned 18, you had the opportunity to leave, but where did you go? Did you guys get your own apartment? What was your living situation like?
Because my situation from Holland to the UK wasn't above board throughout my whole early years, from primary school, secondary school, all the way up to 18, but obviously making that transition into college and then university. I was an illegal immigrant. So the duty of care while I was a minor was on social services to try and help or facilitate some form of legal document. Whilst it was easier, and they never did that. I think they failed me in that regard. They failed my sister in that regard. So when we turned 18, literally a week later, we had all our clothes in a black bag, and then we got shipped and put into a shared accommodation. So I was in a shared accommodation with people similar to myself. I was saying probably similar situations, and it was just all boys. I think it was a 3-bedroom apartment, and my sister was down the road in a similar situation in a woman's shared accommodation, same situation, and that was it. And yeah, that was it.
Yeah, you touched on being a legal immigrant earlier, but I know in the past that you said that having that status clips your wings. Can you share
Mhm.
more about that and how it impedes you?
Oh, in so many ways. Honestly, it was okay until until I was trying to apply for jobs and also go to college and university. Um, Early on, you have friends leave the country, go holidays with their families and things like that. Didn't have the ability to do that. I couldn't go to university because I didn't have this. I wasn't legal. I'd have to pay international fees, and that's ridiculous. I remember I tried. I'll do like cash in hand jobs, and then I'll go and pay, and I just couldn't sustain it because it was ridiculous. I couldn't even get a job at McDonald's. I applied for McDonald's. I get to the final stage, and they said that, well, we like you, whatever. We just need your documents. I'm like, well, I don't have any. I can get a letter from the social services saying that, explaining the situation. They're like, it's not enough. I remember back in the day, it was William Hill, like William Hill working at the bookies. That was like the job to have, because it was pretty easy, and also it paid really well. And but their application process was so hard. Like, you had to do maths and go through all these things, and I did that, and I went through all this stuff, and my friends were getting the job, and I just wanted to be a part of that. And I get to the final stage, and it just couldn't get a job, couldn't leave the country, couldn't get an education, wasn't entitled to any legal funds, couldn't get a council house, couldn't just it's just you just feel like you're not a part of life, and that everyone I'm growing up with is progressing, and I'm stuck, and I have to settle for things like cash in hand jobs, or jobs that don't really have or require those things. I thought about doing security. I did the SIA, which is a certificate badge that you need to get. I'll pay you. You fund it yourself, and then once you do that, then you can kind of get certain jobs, cash in hand for free. So that's kind of how I did that. Obviously, my sister couldn't work, so I would have to make sure that I'm doing all of that, and then also funding her life, and then funding my life as well. So it was just you don't feel like a part of society. You can't progress. Yeah.
I think I read something that said that you were receiving maybe like a weekly stipend of around $44 a week from social services, and you would give that to your sister.
So we get every week. I would have to walk from my shared accommodation to I think it was like Hopton House, which is in Streatham. To the social services way outside, get $44.50, and my sister would get $44.50 as well. But this $44.50 was for travel, food, clothes, everything, like everything. So, and it doesn't stretch, it doesn't go anywhere. So I would get my $44.50. I'll make sure that my sister's okay. I'll buy her clothes. I'll top her up money, and then as well as all the other things that I was just trying to do. I was just trying to hustle, trying to survive, trying to make sure I'm in shape, and then just trying to make sure that we're okay. But apart from the $44.50, that's everything else had to come from me.
Yeah. You said that your environment has the ability to turn you into someone else just for the purpose of surviving. Can you talk about some of the things that you had to do in order to survive, especially in South London?
I don't want to. I personally, I think you can kind of imagine and fill in the gaps. It's just obviously having no options, having very limited resources to better myself, better my life, better my family, and my surroundings. You are exposed, and you do have access to certain things that generate income, I guess. So it's that, and it wasn't done it was done for necessity, I guess, and survival, as opposed to glorifying what that environment and what that lifestyle comes with.
Yeah. What is your current status in pursuit of UK citizenship at the moment?
So even now, as a ambassador for the NFL UK and one of the first, and only, longest NFL players, I'm still struggling with. I'm still not illegal. I have the means to leave the country because I have a Nigerian passport now.
Mm-hmm.
I just get visas and things like that. But I'm still not recognized as a British citizen. Been age 10, maybe 32. It's been a while, and I'm still not recognized. And I have letters and emails and of when the government's been trying to kick me out constantly. That you have to leave. I would seek asylum. No, I would family life. Whatever you name it, I've done it. I've been scammed by lawyers and solicitors. It's been a battle, and it's been a fight. But I'm hoping that in the near future that all that stuff will get resolved, and then I can kind of live a normal life, really. But I don't have to constantly worry about being, leaving the UK and having only residency in Nigeria.
Yeah, I'm sorry you've been through that. Switching gears, where do you think you would be today without the International Player Pathway Program, and what does the program mean to you?
I don't even think that's switching gears. I think that's honestly, I think I'll be worse off. I think I'll either best case scenario, I'll probably be living a very mediocre lifestyle, paycheck to paycheck. just surviving. And worst case scenario, I'll probably be dead. But the program means a lot to me. It was that golden egg for me, and that golden ticket that just gave me the opportunity that I desperately needed, and I gave it everything that I had. I poured everything into it. I didn't want to go back. I didn't want to go back to a life of nothing really, and just and it paid out. And now I have the ability to influence my community, provide for my family, just represent my culture. My name and surname is associated with good and positivity. So it's just, it means the world to me. Every day.
How many times were you cut before the IPP? Around 5?
Oh, more than 5. More than five. I think probably like 6 or 7 in just 1 year. And then the next year, I tried to make it, and I tried out for Atlanta. It wasn't good enough. Tried out for Kansas City. It wasn't good enough. Still just trying to learn. I took the whole year out. I was trying to go to Canada, so I can learn the game, because I heard one of my favorite D linemen did that. He went to Canada. Cameron Wake. He went to Canada, developed, came back, had a really great career. I just felt like I could do it. I just needed time to develop and understand this game. But then the IPP program came, because after the year off, and it gave me a platform and opportunity to be on a team for a year and develop, which is what I really needed. And then the following year, I made a 53, made an active roster, and haven't looked back since.
Yeah, and you were the first player from the program to make a 53-man roster after playing the sport for just 4 years, and I think that's so incredible. But I think your mental and emotional transformation is just as important, and something that people maybe don't see. Maybe it's not as obvious. How have you grown emotionally, and how much has the IPP and finding American football influenced that?
I think there's a level of self-worth now, that comes with all the stuff that I've done and growing. Feeling like my life matters. I think before I never felt that way. I just, that's. But then, yeah, I think that's really how my mentality's changed. I think I had a lot of anxiety, I had a lot of self-doubt, I had a lot of just negative thoughts. I lived a very sheltered lifestyle, and a very sheltered life. And I think through football, through traveling, through exposure, through communication with different people, and understanding different journeys, and I've been able to just kind of grow and just expand my view of the world, and now I have a platform, and I get to share that and also impact people that are in similar situations.
Yeah. I've heard you say that you still kind of live your life as if you're working as that security guard back in the day. You've only been on one holiday since being in the league.
Yeah.
How challenging has it been for you to shift from that survival mindset?
I don't think I have yet. I think I really don't, because one, success didn't come straight off. It didn't come in immediately. It came. I had so many no's, and then through my observation and understanding of what this is, it's a business, and how how fragile it is. One day you can be at the top of the world, and then one injury later, then you're out of a job and you're forgotten. It could just get taken away from you at any moment. I just think that combination of those two things has let me know that, okay, well, you just got to stay in it, and you just got to grind, and it's a short amount of time of your life. You give it everything you can, and once it's said and done, you can cut the cloth to however much money you saved and whatever you've done. And that way, there's some longevity afterwards. Like a lot of us go broke within like 5 years. A lot of lose their families, get divorced, all these other things that you have to be aware of. And then, so I just think, just give it everything for now. And I've always told my wife, like, NFL stands for not for long, but I've been in it for like 9 years now. So, I'm just grateful that I'm still in it.
Something that I was really impressed by about you is how sentimental you are. You've talked about, team dinners and how you make sure at every dinner you collect the wine bottle or champagne bottle and get every single teammate to sign it. When you talked about, your favorite memory from you making your NFL debut back in 2018, you could have easily said, making that first sack, proving everyone wrong, but you said that it was the way that the team embraced you afterwards and getting that game ball. What does the brotherhood of the NFL mean to you, and the brotherhood of the IPP as well, especially since you grew up only being able to rely on yourself and on your sister?
Obviously, growing up in foster care, like family isn't, the one that you're born into. It's the one that I've realized that's the one that you choose. And that's kind of how I live my life. I get the opportunity to kind of just choose the people that I deem to be and family and cherish. The IPP family, I always feel like it's us, trying to infiltrate this environment that wasn't for us. And there's I know all the IPP guys. I can say all their names, and I root for them because I've gone through that same journey. And then within the NFL, there's guys. It's such a short life. One year you can be playing with someone, and the next year they're gone. 1 week they're here, the next week they're gone. But once you go through that with someone, once you go through training camp with someone, once you go through a season with someone, even if if you win a championship with someone, it's like one because you're around them so often. You're around them so like once this thing kicks off, like I'm around them a lot. So once so that bond is honestly forever. I've got guys that I still talk to from my first year in Dallas. And you could just tap in, and it's always love. There's always that connection. There's always that friendly, and I don't know. There's nothing like it. So yeah, that's what's kind of made me sentimental. This journey's not for long, and once it's done, all I'm going to be left is memories.
The NFL has so many great initiatives for global football development that are life-changing for so many people, obviously yourself included. Tell me about your involvement with NFL Africa, the Academy, the IPP, NFL UK. How has your journey influenced you to give back?
Honestly, there's so many smart people that are like doing and creating some beautiful initiatives that are affecting communities, and that's bridging the gap from Africa, from UK, from and trying to create opportunities for people that love the game or have the ability to play the game and participate. And I'm just privileged and honored to be in a position where I can be a part of all of that. Like with the NFL Africa and NFL Academy and the IPP program and all these different things that I see firsthand changing people's lives and changing the narrative of coaches and scouts and colleges and where they deemed how they scout, how they get talent. I see how it's impacting communities with camps that we're doing, and how it's changing young kids' lives and the culture of the game in the UK. Just I'm just privileged that I'm positioned in a way where I can reach out and share my story, or I can reach out and create days and be a part of camps and be a part of these moments like tryouts and mentor kids and these things. And just honestly, it's a blessing. It's a blessing for me. Um, I grew up without role models, and I would be able to be in a position where I can be that for someone. It means the world. Honestly, it's more fulfilling than football.
4 words. I'm proud of you. Those are so empowering, and you've breathed life into so many young athletes with that statement. Who are some people that have encouraged you on your journey?
One, my wife. That I honestly think that she's the secret source to my success. And through all my dark days, through my self doubt, through all my no's, and she's been someone that's always been supportive and someone that's always believed in me, someone that's always seen my potential. someone that's always held me to a high standard and a high regard. Um, and so yeah, she's definitely someone that she says that to me, and it means the world to me. Um, and then as I go through my career, there's some coaches and players and things like that. But throughout my whole career, throughout my whole life, everything that I do, I just want to make her proud.
Switching gears, I want to talk about your Nigerian roots. So you have said that staying connected to your culture is your anchor. How have you stayed connected? How often do you go back? And do you keep in touch with any family in Nigeria?
Unfortunately, I'm not in a situation where I get to go back. I haven't been back since I left. One, due to immigration issues, and then I've just gone straight into, like, since I got the ability to leave the UK, I've just gone straight into the UK, straight into the NFL, and I've just been in the NFL ever since. It's just off season and season, off season and season, just racing this American dream, and but one day I do plan on going back, and once I'm out of this grind phase, I guess, and really learn and understand where I come from. But in the interim, I stay connected through food. I love my food. I've gone through Netherlands, UK, America, all these different states, and no offense to anybody else's food, but everything hits the same. If I'm on an away game and I've had a bad game, I'm texting my wife like, "Baby, can you please just make me some jollof or some pounded yam or goosey or something." It just centers me. It makes me feel home. It makes me feel safe. It just it's in my DNA, because that's really what I was eating when I was younger, and I feel like um, it's a part of me. Music, of course. I remember, like, years ago, I used to play Afrobeats in the locker room, and I'm like, "Oh yeah, turn that off." I want to listen to American rap, but now when I play it, listen. So
Now it's the trend, huh?
the trend, yeah, exactly. And I can definitely resonate to what you said earlier. And I think growing up, being African, being wasn't cool. And I think now that it's being, like, it's more acceptable. There's more platform for people um, to express themselves, to feel connected. It's more acceptable to be able to express your differences, as opposed to trying to blend into the Western society and all these different things. So I just love it. I love it, especially in the way I dress, and as well, like, I've got so much African attire, like, just chilling. I get to express it and stay connected in that regard as well. So yeah.
Love it. What are you most proud of about your Nigerian heritage? What are some values from your culture that have made you successful?
I'm so proud of how hardworking we are. Like, in like, put us anywhere in the diaspora, like, we excel in all fields, and that's what I'm proud of. I'm proud of our hustler mentality, and that's just in me. That's you put me anywhere. You put me in London. You put me in Amsterdam. I'm gonna thrive. I'm gonna find a way. Like, Nigeria don't carry last. Like, that's how I feel. Like, and that's what I'm most proud of. Like, and I see it. I see it in the guys that get picked up in the IPP program. I see it in. It's crazy. We're just built different. Yeah.
Yeah. I recently watched the Giannis Antetokounmpo documentary Ugo, and there was a quote in it that said, "We don't know who we are until we know where we're from." When it comes to leaving your mark on this world, how
Mhm.
important is it for you to not only learn more about your culture, but to share that with the world?
For me, I think it's important. I definitely, just because of how I've grown up, I definitely have have adopted a lot of different cultures and traditions, and that's obviously part of my personal makeup. Obviously, at my core, I'm Nigerian, I'm African, but there's also other things that make me. But representation matters. We have the opportunity, a couple of years ago, to now start representing and having our flags on the back of our helmets. And initially, I had the English flag, I had the Union Jack on there. But then, after a while, I was like, you know what? Well, I'm gonna start wearing my Nigerian flag. So then I started putting the Nigerian flag on there as well. So then now I get to kind of change, and I get to put one week I put Nigerian, one week I put the English flag. So it's just showcasing, understanding that representation matters, because I'm able to use my different experiences from different cultures to connect with different people in different ways. So,
Yeah. What is your full Nigerian name and what does it mean?
my I'm gonna say that one. That's in house, but I was told it means more than wealth.
More than wealth. I love that. All right, I've got a little this or that gamed for you, but the theme is for the culture. Are you ready for this?
Of course, let's do it.
I feel like I already know the answer to this first question, but I'm just going to ask it anyway. Do you love rice or pounded yam with the goosey?
Pounded yam with goosey.
Plantains or fried yam?
Wow, that's a good. Why is that so hard for me?
You're not the only one.
I know, right? That's crazy. I'm gonna go plantain because I eat it more. So I think yeah. But fried yam is just A1, man.
Puff puff or akara?
Puff puff. Yeah.
Afrobeats or Mapiano?
Afrobeats.
Who's your favorite Afrobeats artist?
That's not fair, man. that's not fair. You can't have a favorite Afro. It's different. It's just different vibes.
Your go-to then?
My go-to.
Mm-hmm.
Go honestly, right? I'm listening to a lot of Thames. So I'll say Thames. Me and You. That's a song that's on replay right now. But it changes. I go through different phases. I go through Burnout. I go through Wizkid. I even go old school. I even go P Squared. And
yes.
I was even listening to Fela the other day as well. So I was like, it's a range.
Love it. Love it. I know that Washington locker room has got some good music on.
They're very lucky to have me.
Well, Efe, that was my last question for you. Is there anything else that you wanted to share about your journey or your recovery or anything that you're passionate about that we didn't talk about?
No, I think I'll just let my actions speak for itself. Anyone that's watching this that's supported me through my journey, I'm truly grateful and I appreciate it.